all that. All right, I got to record for G Wiz who can't make it. Master Inferno can't make it. So this is our group. Fills out the screen
Wait.
perfectly.
Is Ripson coming?
Ripson is in the hospital, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm not gonna make these something happen, and sadly he can't be here. But we'll show him the video. Um, much respect to our guy Double R, Robert Ripson. We love you, bro. Okay, cool. So as you know, this is the final installment of Breaking Through with Bars. We are kind of in a celebratory mood today. We've had some great breakthroughs. We've had some great writing. Um, and so I thought I'd bring in a friend of mine who happens to be a hip hop legend, Wordsworth. Um, I can tell you a little bit about him, but I would be kind of fun maybe to hear from him. As we know, Lyricist Lounge, Patches, which he. Yeah, like, I'm not. Let Wordsworth tell us a little bit about your history, and don't leave anything out. Like don't leave out the fact that Wendy Day brought you to L.A. with Eminem and Juice. That kind of stuff. Give him a little juice.
Um, how you doing? Well, I'll give you just kind of like a quick situation. So from the '90s, the late '90s, kind of that boom bap era. The Lyricist Lounge MTV show, and then after then, since then, like I've done like cartoons, so SpongeBob movie, music for that. Peabody and Sherman Netflix series that's out. Cartoon stuff. Dexter's Laboratory hip hop CD, and then like music for Power and recently Bel Air and stuff like that. So that's kind of like what I've learned to do and how to transition with a lot of that. And then did EMC albums with Master A, Strickland. So toured with that for a while. Then my own solo stuff. So just kind of like learning how to write is the key to everything. So just learn how to write everything. And I think that's what I always tell people, don't necessarily be a songwriter, just be a writer. So that way you can get hired to write everything, every style, every flow. So I think that's the key to it. And then now I'm a middle school teacher, and I also got a master's in music business, a master's in secondary education, a master's in academic leadership, and a bachelor's in language and literature. And currently, I have my own course that I licensed to the University of Miami. It's called Organized Rhyme. So you could go on the University of Miami website, and it'd actually be me teaching you how to write rhymes and freestyle and all these other things. So I'll probably put that link in there so you guys can check it out. But that's just what I'm up to. Oh,
Mm.
and then I got two books out too. What Words Are Worth, Volume One, that made it on Amazon top 10 poetry books, and then I got a kids book out called Socks. So that's a quick synopsis.
Quick synopsis, and didn't have to mention, I guess, that he featured on Tribe Called Quest. Didn't have to mention that he featured, as one of the few features on Black Star, one of the great albums of the late '90s. Didn't even have to mention that stuff. And then, in case you don't know, please look up what he did creating the show, Lyricist Lounge. Incredible, game-changing show, which needs to be found somehow on Paramount Plus or something. I still got to get to the bottom of that, because if they could have Yo MTV Raps on there, I don't know why they can't have that on there. But thank you. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna play you guys a couple of Wordsworth verses, couple Wordsworth joints here, so we can see what we're working with. I'm gonna start. It was 22. An incredible kind of like almost like a posse cut called "Live from the Blue Note," and I'm excited because I have a feeling a lot of people might not have heard it. So I'm gonna pull that up right now, and I'm gonna jump. Words, you had the last verse on there, right?
Yeah, last verse.
Okay, 6 minutes 29 seconds. This is crazy.
Yeah,
All right.
it was the idea of it was basically like Quali's artist, Nico is had an idea of doing something kind of like bringing back the lyricist lounge artists. So it's pretty much most of us on there, and then Quali on there with us.
Mm.
And Quali now does a lot of shows at the Blue Note in New York. So being that we sometimes will guest appear there, he was like, "Yo, we should just do a song that's for straight for the Blue Note." So if you watch Quali's show that he has on, I believe, Up Rock or whatever, uh, he did segments at the Blue Note, and that would be the song he would use for the intro on YouTube. So that kind of gives you the whole background how it came about.
All right, so I'm gonna put this on, and this is the one I just want you to pay attention to: syllable stacking, uh, rhyme placements, and just overall just dope rhyming. And that's this is one of my favorite verses from the year. Let me get this joint going here. Can you hear that? Yeah. All right. Word. This shit is fucking fire.
Hasta la vista. Oscar osmosis with the on to the next flight. Vacate with this eight love watching young niggas within his motivation. But in St. Portugal waters.
Woo, here we go.
No statute of limitations on murder. Punchline, I got talent. Yeah, I love watching young niggas fall off like the crate challenge. Nautical coordinates in Portugal waters. Rinse my lady from Haiti, Port-au-Prince. Taught my daughter French and Creole. Plug the quarter in, speak to the audience in South Africa. Playing MF Doom accordion, they swore me in. Took an oath, verses and hooks I wrote. Doper than those motivational quotes that you put the post. The level I'm on has hell and heaven alarm. God and the devil will bond just to respond. Do an EP, I might do an album instead. By the time you hear this, already 3 albums ahead. Any means necessary, like Malcolm X said. Bloodshed is red as Canelo Alvarez head. Jump in the ring, you checkers can't come for the king. You deal more with the police than Sting when he sing. Ship residency, perform live as we cruise coast without hesitancy. Live from the Blue Note, live from the Blue Note, live from the Blue Note, live from the Blue Note. My daughter French and Creole.
I gotta start. The first 4 gets me. I gotta do that again.
Nautical coordinates in Portugal waters. Rinse my lady from Haiti, Port-au-Prince. Taught my daughter French and Creole.
Woo.
Plug the quarter in, speak to the audience in South Africa. Playing MF Doom accordion. They
Yo. Okay. So that first quatrain with the multiple focal points, like there's a lot of dope rappers on there, but when that thing hit, I'd like any feedback. For what did you guys hear? What did you appreciate there? And then maybe words you can tell us just a little bit about maybe the writing of that process, because there was a lot going on lyrically.
Okay.
Go ahead, Big Mike.
You hear they like to say that if you rap, they could know you can rap in a quatrain or 4 bars, and you just did that in a couplet. So that was we know you rapping just off of that. Yeah, that was crazy. Techniques was all over that.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is the track is so slow, so I don't want to come on that slow. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing. I was like, well, how can, because when I write, I'm typically writing in the mindset of performing every verse. So that way I know. So that's how I write. I pretty much know, like, okay, if I'm about to say this on stage, what's the reaction from it? So I know coming on with that type of intro, blah, 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 it's gonna make people, as long as it's clear, the clarity has to be there too. So that was the key to just kind of thinking about how to do that. But thank you.
Interesting point on the clarity, as we're surrounded by a lot of MCs that don't come off very clear, right? So for a lot of the legends we've been talking to, notice they are stressing the importance of clarity, right? So that's another example of that. Better come on, I know. What'd you hear there, bro? What do you want to ask or say on that?
Man, that was amazing. I was wondering, it's probably what we call in pendulum syllable stacking. You know that words has this rhyme scheme, and apparently when it ends, he adds like a new focal point, and he continues with it, right? Well, that was insane, man. I'm without words, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
Yep. And so syllable stacking, and then Katie says, I love the sting bar, and
Thank you.
like do you think like as you're writing, you're like, okay, I went crazy with the syllables patterns. Now I got to put in a bit of a punch. You know what I mean? For lack of a better word, a bit like you're like, all right, we're about 8 bars in. Let me give them a creative simile, little metaphor, something like a punch. Does that go into your mind at a certain time?
I kind of just really think about it's really about the clarity more so than the punch for me. So like if I'm saying when I say playing MF Doom accordion, that's just a regular line in some regards, but it's a line of mutual understanding. So basically I'm up there thinking about like I'm gonna say this MF Doom line without trying to pause and take a lead into it to make it seem like this big punchline. It's just what I'm doing and listening to at that time. And the other thing is it has to connect with the flow to the next part without stopping. So the main thing is that can everything be chopped up and diced into something that's a mutual idea of somebody else? That's how I kind of write too, right? So if you dice up every part of the verse, is there something in there for everybody without stopping or with stopping? So that's kind of how I thought about it when writing it.
Yeah, say you connecting either through ideas or through rhyme. We call those safety pinning.
Yeah.
Um, Beautiful. All right. Any other thoughts or words on this verse from?
I'm-
Go ahead, K12. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought the delivery was phenomenal, man.
Thanks.
Just the way you put emphasis on certain places, certain words, and yeah, it was very. You can tell it was very intentional. I loved every moment of it, bro.
Thank you.
Cadence, madness.
Thank you.
Big
Yeah,
Mike.
I recall writing it. I mean, Midas the Beast is on that. If you ever get to check out Midas, if you know Midas, he's very like he sets it off, but he says a lot of stuff. Like, he's from that kind of like that Planet Asia,
Mm.
Raekwon, and that's his type of stuff he likes. So that stuff he says a lot in there. So I'm up here like, okay, I want to match that energy of saying a lot, but just having it in a different style. But yeah, the track is there's no drums, nothing. It's just a piano. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be in there just like, yeah, y'all, we got the rap and the flow. I don't want to do that. It gotta be like you just gotta speed it up. How can I speed up? Basically become the instrument. That's it. What's the instrument I can become?
It's a good point. Yeah, you're not going to be saying the normal type of punchlines and whatnot when there's no drum and it's such a different type of beat. You got to come with a different delivery and just a different style almost. And I love the fact that you said subtle punchlines. Like you didn't say I'm playing an accordion like MF Doom. That's played out. You Yeah. So you had a double entendre on the accordion. Go ahead, Big Mike.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick, the when I write, it's in the mindset of performing every verse. I'm about to tell that to every youth I see from now until the end of time, because that's why I be trying to tell them. But if I have somebody of your stature that is saying this is how I write and is thinking, because a lot of times they be wanting to punch in, and it's like punching in is cool, but you can't punch in on stage. And Styles P said if you can't rap your verse in one take, then you should probably write another verse. So if I got somebody of your stature that is saying that,
Well, I mean, I don't write and rap everything in one verse, one take. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? I got my setup right here. I sit here. I be sitting here and I record sitting down and all that. But what I would say though is the intent of what you're writing. So my vibe is whatever I write has to be just as potent with the beat without the beat. That's my standard. If whatever I write isn't fire when being read, then I don't think it's gonna be hot on beat. So because um the thing that we're lacking or not really identifying with is that we have the duality and we're not actually taking advantage of the duality. So and what I mean by that is the actual written word. And so the what words is worth volume book that I put out, that's actually one of my albums, and you get to actually read it. So, and then it's me breaking it down in my narrative voice, telling you what I meant by everything. So I think we're not taking advantage of the fact that, so here's what I'm saying. When I was like, yo, let me write a poetry book. But then I had to realize I actually wrote 10, 12 poetry books already. Why am I going to redo a poetry book when I already wrote them? I just didn't print them. So that's where I'm at with doing these things like that. So that's the intent. If you're gonna write it, it gotta be able to, if I'm on stage, if I said it's a cappella, will it hit the same way if I said it on the beat there? So it should all be kind of entangled together with all the same intent of, if it gotta be good for any delivery. So when you read it, there's no beat, is it fire? When you hear it, then at the end of the day, if somebody else is saying it, is it fire? That's the main thing. Somebody else saying it to their friend. You heard this? You heard this? So it's so many transferable ways that it has to be dope from when I write it. That it's not only me. You know, I'm leaving these scriptures and scrolls that are read like hieroglyphics. Some things that you read from thousands of years ago is still fire till today, right? So we still debate about them. So if you're not writing with that intent, then it really probably ain't gonna be something that's gonna last the test of time with it, you know?
Woo! I'm working on a book right now, all based on what you just said, man. Yeah, appreciate. Woo! Yeah,
Yeah. If you get a chance, check out that what words is worth
I'm
situation.
on it.
Yeah, check it out, man. Because um, you know what it was I was tired of like seeing people break down other people's books, like raps. So I was like, yo, I'm here. Let me break it down so there's no Shakespearean theories being brought about. Like, what do you think he meant? No. Read the book. I broke it down. You know what I meant. You know, today we still debate what people mean, and if they just break it down, you know, it has more deeper meaning. So, yeah.
I bar breakdowns on the way. Yo, you just speaking my life into existence. So appreciate you again. Word.
Oh, no problem, man. Do it. We all of us in here got books. We just ain't print
Not
them.
gonna lie,
Print them, man.
not gonna lie. The Shakespearean theory, That okay? That's gonna be an assignment. We're gonna be rhyming with Shakespearean theory. Mike, take a note because I need Peralou. Take a note. We're gonna be writing on that Shakespearean theory. You know what I mean? This is gonna be crazy. Okay, so let's jump ahead here. So Wordsworth, what we've done in this class was more than just teaching the art of rhyme and the art of hip hop lyrics. I do that, and Pendulum Inc. does that, of course, which many of our people here are in Pendulum Inc. But the difference with this is this was more of a place where I wanted to help them express, discover, and kind of create themselves as human beings through rhyme. So
Right.
we worked on creating I am statements, right? So if I asked you who you are, you you can nail that in 2 lines. If you ask me who I am, I'm Jeff Walker. I created Rhymecologist. It helps people express, discover, create themselves through hip hop lyrics. You know everything about me right there. So we talked about that. And then um, we moved on to something that you were told as a youth that became a belief. Something you were told as a youth that became a belief that could have been a burden or it could have been something that propelled you. And so we've been really working on that kind of stuff. So obviously it's been a little deeper this class than most. And so with that said, I would like to play a verse that deals with life, emotion, um, aging, and just it's just one of those songs that I keep saying, like, we got to touch people, right? And so this is going to be Wordsworth again with the final verse on Winds of Change.
Times young in my pros and DVDs of us rehearsed. Holding a picture frame, wishing that we didn't age. photo album, cellophane, shocked as I flip the page, snapshots on stage in the tour van that we wrecked, videos and DVDs of us rehearsing our set. In my 60s, bald, gray beard, wrinkled skin, glasses getting thin, jawline sinking in. Thinking then were different times, young in my prime. At 55, started forgetting lines, mumbling rhymes, wrote books, scripts, screenplays, stayed lyrical. MP3's digital, vinyl is now minimal, it's critical. Still freestyling with my grandkid, the beats and the flows are new, but I understand his old school, not bitter. I don't have a grudge, not that my era was better. Just tell him how it was. It's noon, the car's here, heading to the studio. The garden sold out a week straight for our reunion show.
Today and tomorrow's a reflection of the past. Life's like a cycle, and nothing ever lasts. But being that we human, we're forced to play the game. It seems the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah. So that was Winds of Change. What let's see. Let's see who have I heard from? Let's see. Sarah, what'd you think of that verse? What did you hear there in regards to rhymecology and regards to all these things that we're talking about, and just how did that verse make you feel? Sarah, you're on mute.
Sorry. Bad time to put me on the spot because my audio has been going in and out while you were playing. And I don't,
Okay.
it's only when you play the music. I heard only like 3 good lines from the first one too, but I think it's my audio because everyone else heard fine.
Okay. All right. Jay Trey, I know you know that verse. What'd you hear, bro?
Yeah, similar to the first piece you played, maybe not quite so on that track, but I love how succinct and tight knit it can be. Like not a lot of tweener words throughout the description, throughout the verse, and it just hits. Every word hits. Plus, it's one of my favorite tracks ever. So,
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we were listening to that track in we were listening to that track a long time ago, Jay Trey and I.
Oh yeah.
Patches, how did that make you feel when you heard that?
You're cutting out. I missed the last
An
part of the
emotional
question,
tip.
bro. Emotionally, I love
I
the
said, how
last
did that
4.
track make?
The last 4 was crazy, man. Like I don't know if it was the hook or not, but I need to revisit it. Same thing. It was kind of glitching out. The audio was, so I'm not as familiar with the particular verse.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, K12.
Yeah, man, I loved it. If I had to say, it was like a movie, man. Like I felt like I was in his shoes, you know what I'm saying, chilling with the grandkids, you know what I'm saying, glasses on my face, you feel me? Seeing the jawline, you know what I'm saying, sinking in, then you tell them about your heyday, but then you respecting, like, you know what I'm saying, the music that they kicking it, I just vibing and connecting. It was dope, man. I loved everything about it, bro. That was fly. Kind of remind me of how Sky Zoo, he'll take you on that journey too, like that, like hella dope.
Yeah. I got a couple of songs with Sky Zoo recently. Me, him, and Bad Seed, and then me, him, and man, it's called Brooklyn. It's another song called Brooklyn. He just released maybe a few months ago, last year too. So check those out.
But I got you. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, man. Writing that song is kind of just one of the things I try to do with any song. So if I was to rhyme on any song with anybody, man, I always try to think of a different character. That's my mindset. Like I'm not really always I don't want to get on any track kind of as me. So I try to pass that along and teach people about that. So just trying to stay away from being you on the track every time. Like maybe you as a different version of you, maybe you at a different age, you here, maybe you were looking from here. You know, I might write a rhyme about, yeah, sitting on the bus. But like I'm not gonna just like automatically go into just the days. I don't want to. I gotta go. Like I gotta try to pinpoint it somewhere different. I think that helps a lot. It helps a lot for just as writers. We have to kind of like remove ourselves to start thinking just more on being in different places.
That is such a jewel right there. Such a jewel. Don't always be rhyming as yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like like method rapping, be able to become a character. Like I will say, like the track that Wordsworth and I have on my upcoming album, you know, we literally painted this scene, where we're at a cafe, and
Right.
Words is playing the waiter, and I'm playing a guy who's literally been going to this cafe for years, right? About the four and booth four and like where's the waiter where's the waitress that's usually here? I hope she's where's Kathy? I hope she's not mad at me. Like so like that's really refreshing. Actually, that's really refreshing, you guys. Like to actually step out of your skin that we're always rhyming from, right? And create something like that. It's a really powerful way. And and if you think about like the Hemingways and like they never wrote as themselves. They were always right. They went completely into another person's mindset and character and then produced these masterpieces. So I really love that idea. Thank you, Wordsworth. Um so Winds of Change is that song. For those who couldn't quite hear it, Winds of Change by EMC. Really a masterful album, another concept album created by the crew here that tells a story from start to finish. As Master Ace always does, and they put together a super group for it. It's really, really powerful. One of my favorite albums. I'm gonna do one more thing, just because I want to show you again the how powerful and beautiful it can be to express and create from this point of view. So based off of what Wordsworth just said, I'm going to play one more track. Hopefully it comes through for you guys who didn't hear it too well. Pedal Lou, Big Mike, were you able to hear it okay? Katie, were you able to hear it okay? The
Yes,
last
sir. I'm about to add
Yep.
Wordsworth to my I don't know why I haven't been listening to Wordsworth my whole life.
I think you have, but you just might not have you have. You have, but
Yeah,
I know what you're saying though. I know what you're saying
I
though.
know what you're saying. I know what you're saying too, man.
Word.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah. All right. So once I play this for you, Mr. Hip Hop Therapy, you're gonna say what have I been doing with my life? Okay. This track is called Test of Time, and I know it's special to Words. I'm playing the whole track because it's just us here.
All these years you was made for me. Now I'm 86 and you 83. Married all these years, we were made to be. Knew everything about each other, A to Z. And you still as gorgeous as you wanna be. You look the same now like when you was 23. I remember what you wore. Jean shorts, blue shirt with Tupac Shakur. Coming through the door, and you gave the best hugs. You were in the chess club, track and field too. Can't remember what the rest was. Me you thought less of. Made me change my ways and I passed the semesters. Guess it was just love, close to being kicked out. Not only school, but at home had a strict house. And I had a big mouth. That's when my credit started tabulating. Academic probation to graduation because of you. If love can stand the test of time, we'll fight forever. We'll fight forever, ever, ever. Forever's just a state of mind. We fight together. We fight. Couple of years, a couple of cars, a couple of jobs. Us being a couple was hard. Days spent finding ways that I could pay rent. Almost had to pawn a ring for our engagement. In case, call your sister, make some arrangements. Maybe your cousin or my uncle we could stay with. It became trouble in paradise. Two adults preparing for the parent life. Hurt by the emails that your parents type. You defended me every time your parents right. Did whatever it takes to keep our family tight. Just don't want
want our kids to see their parents fight. It was a roller coaster ride. Every other day it brought me closer to your side. Both of us survived. Can't go on without both of us alive. Rather both of us die. Open up your eyes, it's me. If love can stand the test of time, we'll fight forever. If love can stand the test of time, forever's just a state of mind. We find together. We find together. Stand the test of time. Told the nurse purposely, excuse us, pull back the curtain, please, for courtesy. Uncertainty, but you needed it urgently. Emergency surgery around our anniversary. Tears appear, reminiscent of romantic years. You were there for my surgery and cancer scare. Your 5 grandkids, daughters, and your family's here. Holding her hand, squeezing tight, please answer, dear. I watched her inhale in her last breaths. Gave everything that she has left. See you soon, I'm on my way, I'm leaving Earth next. Wish I could rewind to when we first met. If love can stand the test of time, we'll fight forever. We'll fight forever. Forever. Forever's just a state of mind. We fight together. We fight together. Stand the test of time.
Thanks, man.
Yes. So
Yeah, that's basically just reminiscing bedside with my wife in the hospital, you know. So I go through all the stages, reminiscing from us at the age now, when we was middle age, and then start where we at now with the kids and stuff like that, grandkids, and you know. So just think about stuff. I just try to think about a whole bunch of stuff, man. I just think, man, and just try to write things from so many various things that, like, me being, I would say my age now, because I did that a while ago. Well, not a while ago, but what's that? Yeah, almost like 10 years ago, almost. But still, you start thinking about things like, man, that song it becomes even doper to me because I'm getting older. You know what I'm saying? So this, I'm excited. I love making music, man, and writing stuff. So that particular breakdown of those lyrics is in that book. So I break down the thought process behind each. So I do every 4 bars, and then I break down what made me think of those 4 bars. So that's what's in that book.
I just want to ask, like, how did that feel to people? Because that's poetry, that's life. I just gotta ask, like Katie, how you feel? Katie, how you feel hearing that? Like, how did that feel to you?
Like it was just super deep. Even just the hook itself, like it made me think and it made me feel. It definitely made me feel. And kind of like a yearning for, like, I want that kind of love, you know what I mean? It was like, I'm sure there was like an insane amount of technique and lyricism going on there, but I was just feeling the whole song the whole time. So I really liked it.
Thank you. I try to I'll be honest, I tell people to play it for their parents, and like elders all the time. Like, yo, you should play that if you ever get a chance. Just to kind of, it'll take them down that thought process of like, wow, and stuff like that. Just to to show that you even understand their perspective. And that's really what it's about. I think writing is all about perspective. So we're all, when I hear your guys' stuff today, I want to hear your perspective on something. And that's the thing about life in general. Respecting other people's perspective is very key to flourishing in writing.
One thing I was gonna say, I really liked even just the part where you were like, I still remember what you were wearing or whatever. Like, you still look like you did when you were 23, and I still remember what you were wearing. That I don't know, it just struck a chord, because thinking of an 86-year-old and still having that kind of like You even said I don't remember the rest, but like you remember the little details, and yeah, that was fire.
Thank you.
And that was such a great touch. I don't remember the rest because you don't remember everything at that age. Um, yeah, the third verse, like that's like it for me. It's like I get a little teary eyed. Like that third verse. First of all, the rhyming was. I think Katie, actually, you said that really well because what my goal with rhymecology is not to create just syllable robots, right? And just but when you can have the techniques and the mastery of rhyming combined with the emotion that we just heard, that's always been my goal. And so the fact that you were like, I'm sure there was some techniques you didn't notice that it was a 4 or 5 syllable multi going for like 4 or 5 lines in the top of the third verse, but you were like into the story because you were seeing the imagery and pull the curtains back, like the details, right? um so inspiring song. I wrote it down. Test of Time by Wordsworth. The other was EMC. The group was EMC, Winds of Change. um and then Live from the Blue Note as well. Go ahead, Big Mike. And if anyone wants to speak on this, this is your chance to, because then we're going to move into the next situation. Yeah.
Wordsworth was like the perfect person to have here because this fits in like perfectly with, I feel like with the what Pendulum's trying to do and make ill lyricist, and then what Rhymecology's trying to do, which is like trying to talk about your life and think back and things that are coming from like an actual place. So to have to listen to that in like act in real time was like super fire. Especially because I was about to in the chat, I wrote, listening to the second verse, I was like, yo, I'm about to send this to the wife right now. This is what we're going through right now. I'm about to send it to you right. And then the third verse was like, let me wait until like a 20-year anniversary or something, because that might be looking into the future too fast.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is while you're feeling all of that, you're rhyming crazy. So yeah, I think that's what we all trying to do as far as like lyricists, is be able to say something eloquently written and then still portray whatever emotion we are. So that was fire.
Thank you.
Patches, was your hand up a second ago? Go ahead, Patches.
Yeah, man. The one thing I tried to write some notes from what I could hear. The one in the middle verse that hit me was the two young adults preparing for a parent life. Like, I don't know who's a parent in here, but I could definitely relate with that one. And that whole middle verse, it was fire. But as I wrote, just like Jeff said, the third verse, the emergency surgery, man, like that whole episode plays out. And like, how can you? I'm sure if I really dug into it, I probably would be teared up right now. Everybody here knows I wear my heart on my sleeve. So, it was dope, man. Like, I got to revisit that one and get into that, and the method writing tips, like, and from a different perspective, like, that's all I've learned in the last year is really to put intention. Like, I used to write rhymes forever, and that's all it was. It was rhymes.
Right.
Once you put a little intention behind it and a little direction behind it, then it becomes something bigger than itself, almost, and that, look, I'm getting teared up just talking about that. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. I really love that.
Thank you, man. Yeah, this is what it's about. I mean, you sit there, you're writing something that when it goes out to the world, is it making a ripple?
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about at the end of the day. Like, what are you saying? Is it making a rippling effect, down the line, that'll last for years and years and have the relevancy play? Because the way music is nowadays, we could do a song right here, but then it could be heard in a whole nother country right now. So you never know what's going on. You make a song right now and you big in the Philippines. Years ago it wasn't like that at all. If they didn't ship the record over there, mail it over there, all of that. Now it's like internet. So you gotta write with intentions because this message with a digital age is more has more of an infinite standstill, staying power now. So it ain't what I tell people is not about necessarily now with everything, right? It's like 100 years from now, a test of time will work. 200 years, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And
crazy.
not work from music standpoint from when you read it. So that's what my focus is. It's like the reading aspect of it because in classes, I want my stuff for classes. People can teach it in classes. I've had a friend in Seattle use my book to teach in classes and stuff like that. So it's all about that. And I think all of us have to kind of, as we're getting older and we're making the music or writing, finding the other avenues to get the message across. Because I know tons of people that may be older than me, they don't listen to no hip hop, but when I give the book, then they're like, oh, this right here, I can deal with this, the reading part. So I think we got to make sure we're covering both sides of it and making sure the intent and power is there.
Respect, man.
And just to tap on that, like I really the content of these type of songs we've been listening to, that's why it's going to last 100 years because people are always going to be in relationships, people are going to be losing people are going to be in a hospital, people are going to remember their first crush, first love, all that stuff. Like that's why these last literally name test of time. It will last the test of time and winds of change because everything changes. So that's gonna last more than me talking about the length of my fucking chain, right? Like that shit ain't gonna last. It's not gonna last. Like so, again, rhymecology philosophies personified. J Trey, did you have your hand up? And K12, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think I'm probably just piggybacking on Katie's points, but yeah, it's just the essence of love, relationships, and the lifeline that you can view or hear or read at any time. So, like Winds of Change, I've listened to that for 15 years, and it's still now I see it differently. Now I hear it differently, and that's the beauty of it. And then the test of time, I've almost been a bachelor my whole life, and I'm yearning for that romance. I don't know if I'll ever have that full story. I have bits and pieces of it, but it just hits me in that way, and I appreciate the whole circle of everything he wrote in that track.
Thank you, man. It's like I said, for me, it's all about the literary aspect of it. Like that's kind of where I'm at with it. Just like when it's read, how does it sound read? Also we've all been to open mics and things like that, and I always was like, man, it'd be dope to just see somebody step on stage with my book and say the poem, say what I wrote, the rhyme and stuff like that. That's another level to show just how the skill and the music is transferable now. So that's what I focus on a lot more nowadays is making sure that there's books and other ways that it's accompanied by. And that's what I enjoy. I still love doing the music and rhyming, but like overall just understanding where how do I pass down this craft?
Yeah. K12, your hand was up, bro. You still want to say something, K12?
Yes, sir. I was listening to the track as it came on, and I was hearing the rhythms and just the harmony and different things. I was wanting to know, was that produced by Jay Dilla?
No, that's actually produced by Donnell Smokes. He's actually from
Okay.
California. That particular project, he did the entire album. And then singing on there is a friend of mine called Range the Messenger. So he's real dope as well. So yeah, they're both two different people. But yeah, that's that track. Donnell Smokes, he's real dope from West Coast. He's
Yeah.
from West Coast.
Yeah, he had that swing in there. That's why I asked. It
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, J Dilla's on everyone's mind today, so I get it. Okay, thank you. That's just like the apex of what you can do when you combine feeling with lyricism, and great songwriting. Okay, and just writing in general. So what we're gonna do now is, as I said before, we have written a few things in this workshop, and I wanted to see if we could share them for you, and it's just you and I can give a little feedback, and you just get a chance to, you know, kind of show what you did in this 4 week workshop, for a legend and then a rhymecologist. So how about that? Um, yeah. So that'll be fun. I think that's the stage where we're at. I've done this. I've done that. I'm checking my notes. Yeah, yeah, we're good. So I think we probably. I don't think we're gonna. There's no beat. I feel like this is more, poetic, more, you know, out the journal type of thing, especially because people didn't rhyme on the same beat. So let's just kick it a cappella. Um, who want to start this thing off? Can I K12? Can I call on you, my guy?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Let's
K12.
get
Hey,
it.
tell him, introduce yourself. Hey, actually, if you guys have your 1 or 2 I am lines either memorized or on paper, that would be dope because it's like, okay, you got a legend's ear. Tell him who you are. Boom, 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 and then kick your shit. That's what if you have that, I think that would be dope.
For sure. I'm K12 from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a multifaceted creative who uses his gifts to empower others.
Dope, dope.
Y'all
Dope.
ready for me to kick my verse?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get it. All right, let's go. Seem like the whole world's warring over words. Love and peace dormant and foreign. I'm so disturbed. Wrote a verse on an app tonight for murderous appetites. My rapper Mike hopes to curve. Memorize mothers mourning over Hearst, carrying so many sorrows, their shoulders hurt. Opposed to hers, his better weight of the world. So I composed this dirge for brother play with his girl. To go from pearl to better days with every phrase. Make Eddie Kane's walk a straight line, have steady ways. We Chevy braids, levitate a way of living. If God with us, my nigga, who said we can't? Seem like the whole world's trending and don't want us to sound different. My jazzy ass and roll less traveled on miles gifted. The kind of blue chakra that got your brow lifted through the phrasing and the shaping the statements are now mentioned through words.
Dope, 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 man. I love that alliteration. That alliteration setting it off.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. It's dope. So you do music, poetry, what you do it all?
Yeah, I do music and just rapping, man.
Yeah,
All the arts, really, visual art, dance, all of it.
yeah, you got some dope projection there, man. Like I'm like, okay. Like you definitely should record that. I don't know. I don't know if you into poetry, but you got the projection on some powerful poetry stuff with some light music under there. Be kind of crazy. I'm keeping it real with you there, man.
Take a
You should
Thank
note.
you, bro.
Take a
consider
note on
that.
that.
You should probably consider doing some like you have that projection in the words for some powerful spoken word stuff, man. To be real.
Mm,
So well, at least if you're doing an album, and you got songs, you probably should have an interlude with you going off like that with just some light. Just, I'm telling you, man, your projection for that arena is very real.
bet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
Take that note. That's a really really good note to take. And I felt the emotion, man. You talking like how heavy things are on her shoulders, like you project like your projection, like he said, but your enunciation was great. Like we caught it, we felt it. Yeah, alliteration techniques were there, safety pins, shadow boxes, it was all there. But like you were hitting it. So what do you say? He said some some light music, some light drums, maybe something like behind you, and just
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you that you got that projection. If you went to open mic and they just had started doing the drums and you started saying that, I'm telling you, that lane is very serious for you. I'm just gonna tell you from what I've heard and saw, man. It's very powerful, man. If you some speeches, you got that projection and stuff, man. So, um, I would at least check that lane out because as you get older, you will get hired more for those things. So that's kind of the way I've been trying to go about it too, doing the books and other things. Start being on these panels and doing all these other things like that. I would definitely say you should mess with that lane though.
Bet I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna look into an open mic down this way. I ain't never did that. I'm gonna be nervous, boy.
Oh yeah, you got to do it. You never did open mic?
I ain't never publicly
Oh,
performed
so,
until Pendulum last year at the graduation.
oh,
That's my
yeah.
first time ever publicly performing.
Yo, I'm telling you, if you go on stage and just rock how you just did, and I don't know, some open mics, some be having the little music stuff here and there, but I think you got it. Just that acapella is gonna cut through. I think that's a ill lane for you. That's for real.
I
So
got I got two things to say. Number one, when I first started hitting open mics out here, the first one or two times I did read, I read off, and you're allowed to, in that beginning times, you're not going to get the same performance value and all that, but if you want to get out there and kind of read the first time,
right,
it'll be totally acceptable. People bring they're called chap books, their little poetry books. People do that all the time. So, but knowing you, you'll eventually, you'll memorize it, and you know, you'll have some guy on a little drum going, you know what I mean? And second of all, it goes back to what Chilla said. Remember what Chilla Jones said? That voice is unique. That voice cuts, as Wordsworth said. So keep it up, bro.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
yo, one more thing. I would probably say in your area, try to see if you could do some speeches at some of the graduations coming up and things like that. Ask about that. Hey, I want to, just, got a poem, maybe to enlighten, motivate, and inspire. You got something coming up. Well, I can come. I think that'll help you out too. And you'll see what I'm saying, because people will be like, yo, that was powerful, and it'll go up. So that's what I would suggest you probably start doing. Because what is this, February, May, June coming up soon. So
Hey, good luck. I appreciate you.
yeah, for sure.
Keep it up. All right, who wants to go next? Beto
I'll
Lou?
go.
Oh. All right, Sarah. Sarah got the mic off. She beat you to it. Pedo Lou, you can go next.
I'll do
Sarah,
it. I'll do it.
SKM Music.
All right. So my I am statement. My name is Sarah. I'm the first female singer-songwriter to incorporate complex hip hop rhyme schemes into my storytelling, and I produce, compose, and play almost every instrument.
Nice.
All right. So this was from the last one. This was our last assignment. I was a kid. I was a kid. Stars in my eyes. Wanted you to see what I wrote. Remember what I told you. Remember what you told me, that my dream was a joke. That December let it mold me. Said I'd be young and broke. Been 30 years and still it holds me. Without freedom, I choke. It's just a hobby, rocking lobbies. I don't got that pop star body. People want a top hottie. I should probably stop and drop this probably. Ooh, I said that really pretty off, but it's a little bit of a tongue twister there. I should stop and drop this probably.
Sarah, start again. Start again. Now that you got the nerves out, now you're good to
Okay,
go.
yeah. I was also like 40 degrees.
Fam.
I was a kid, stars in my eyes, wanted you to see what I wrote. Remember when you told me that my dream was a joke? That December let it mold me, said I'd be young and broke. Been 30 years and still it holds me. Without freedom, my choke. Yeah, it's a hobby, rocking lobbies. I don't got that pop star body. People want that top power hottie. I should stop and drop this probably. Yeah, your words that got me. That's that.
Dope. It's dope. Music too. You do music. Everybody doesn't do music, right? Or everybody does music. I'm not sure. Jeff, you would know more than me, but
Sarah does probably the most music in here.
music, yeah, it's dope. It's dope. I would like to hear how that is on the beat for sure.
I totally worked on that actually over the last few days. I put a beat and I played some guitar to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to hear that. I would like to hear that like done whenever you got like a version of
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, I like
100%.
that. I want to hear a version of that because I want to hear if you do the dropout during that part.
Yeah, I actually have some harmonies going on in that singing part too.
When you do that, the top, what's the, say it again, that second part, the not
Yeah, it's just a hobby, rocking lobbies. I don't got that pop star body. People want that top par hottie. I should stop and drop this probably. Yeah.
that's a big line performing wise. If you once you do a dropout right there and you say that right there, everybody's gonna go crazy on that. It's dope.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
I'll send that final to Jeff for you.
Yeah, I want to hear it for sure.
And you know when you said like when you record it, man, like you gotta hit that. Remember when you told me that my dream was a joke? Like you know, I know you're probably a little nervous, but like that, I felt like that was the one. Like you put the emotion on that one, right? You know, like the dream was a joke, like that. Like, and then I know you had the same different focal points. You had the mold told me, and you had the mold me, and the December, and the remember. Like you had a lot of things going on lyrically, which was fire. But there was a lot of emotion in there too, right? So, like Wordsworth says, like we don't get so caught up in the rhyming that we get away from the emotion because there's a lot there that we want to feel. And I know you can do that because that's what you do.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that line though is dope. The rhyming in a hobby was a lobby. It's gonna be about just the arrangement of the song for that line. So that's a whole nother thing as far as like when you're making music and stuff like that and writing and all that. Like just having a simple dropout. I remember being in the studios for like songs back in the days and watching them just be like drop the music out and then bring it back in, and it made a line way iller. It was already dope, but that drop so just make well when I hear it, I want to hear it, but like that part, the way to make it stronger than the writing of it is going to definitely be the attention it's giving through the music.
And are you talking about right before it goes into the melody, the singing melody, or?
Yep, yep, yep. So as soon as it go into that second part, everything should drop, and then as soon as you get to the end of it, it come back in, and that's the big sell on it. Because you said guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure, but I know if I'm seeing that and you just doing it, and then you get to that part, and then and just drop out, and then boom, it's gonna be killer. So
Nice. Thank you.
yeah,
Taking notes.
Could could that possibly play as a hook or that I don't got the pop star body, you know, could that play as a hook or you think it's better just to drop it once and leave it? Because
I think the hook part, if from hearing it, it's so short right now. But if I had to do something that was a hook, it would be the first bars because they're easier to remember off rip. And then if you ever brought back the lobby hobby part, it would be something more so like maybe a pre-chorus or at the end of the record because it was such an impactful part of the song overall. But it's always gonna probably be what's the easiest thing to be said right there on spot. So the other thing is not gonna be easily to be memorized because I can't remember it right then and there, but I remember the joke and all of the other stuff immediately. So I would cut that and probably put that as a hook. If worst came to worst, that would be my hook because the first thing I'm saying, and usually people gravitate to that. But you know, got to hear the whole song to go there. But that Hobby Lobby thing is very catchy after it's heard, so somebody can memorize it. So if I'm gonna do that, I'll bring that back all the way at the end of the record. And maybe if you with a crowd, you could probably do a clap to it and have them try to say it, and they'll start learning it like that. Yeah. So you got to kind of pick the little parts there for the performance slash the song and all that. But yeah, that part definitely needs a drop right there, and you'll get a lot of woo like and all that for that part for sure.
For sure. Thank you so much for that feedback.
Oh, no problem. Thank you
Nice.
for saying it.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, and you know who to call to finish this song up with you. Pedro Lou, all the way live, not from the Blue Note, but Mexico.
It's an honor, man. I am Perro Lu, a bilingual MC from Mexico City. My purpose is to elevate the craft of lyricism in Mexico through powerful music and to use my knowledge to help younger artists to develop as writers. I'm gonna kick it, man. Perro. I was born in a monster city with a skyline polluted from the smog of chimneys. I cleared the fog with my pen bearing combos witty at Rhymecologist workshop, having combos healing. This where I followed Mickey and found a new direction. Now I see a teacher in the mirror, true reflection. Through connection, I seek to inspire young artists. I'm pulling all strings like a strong harpist, flow Marxist, aware of material surroundings, non-ethereal, the interior of notebooks from the surrounding, true groundings. Walk earth with the depth of mexicas. I might pull my heart out just to clear up enigmas, sin perfidia, as long as there's beat se puede sentir a freaking place que se apaga y enciende en medida. Pass my bebida, cause the groundwork's extraordinary in a world where the norms to be extra and ordinary.
Dope, man. The wordplay is ill. A lot of ill wordplay in there, man. A lot of ill
Appreciate you, legend.
wordplay in there, man. Like,
I
like
know I know I was rapping it for you.
no ill wordplay. I just asked what the arenas are that y'all are performing in because like that's big for me. For me, performing is like major.
Mm.
That's helped with me being able to be here because you know I got shows. I do shows here and there, so that helps a lot. Because that'll help spread the word as well. So like that particular thing sounds crazy as an intro before the beat drop. It's like just
Mm.
imagine saying that on stage and some little light under you, and then all of a sudden, boom. That's crazy there. But yeah, I love the wordplay and everything you said in there, man. You know, so I love it. I love the connection of it, the flow of it, and how you were able to just sustain the flow, keep going like that and everything. So with the connections of them. So it was real dope too.
Appreciate it a lot, legend. Actually, I didn't write that to a beat, so yeah, definitely it can work as you
Oh,
suggest.
yeah.
I'm gonna try to incorporate it as that. Yeah,
Yeah, if you just start something with that and you maintain that flow with some light under it and then some type of or whatever, and then you go right into the music, it's gonna be captivating. So dope.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate that a lot.
No
That is
problem.
really, yeah, that's a great advice. Yeah, because yeah, the way that you were like rolling, right? And rolling isn't always on the drum, right? On like so like the way you were rolling with the vocals, like just a little like like the pictures words is painting for us is incredible. Like the little spotlight on you, the band's behind you, because he does like he performs like live, like that's what he does, right? So
Yeah,
the
true.
spotlight, and then right at the end of that, you know, here we go with this, and then you can, you know, you're rapping however you're rapping.
And then the also what I teach every day is TV, film, and music production in school. That's what I teach at my school. So a lot of this stuff I'm like giving y'all that I give to my students too. So a lot of things like that. We were filming music videos this week outside. So I'm helping them direct music videos and stuff like that. So that's kind of some of the background too of me being able to kind of like listen and then kind of figure out like, okay, where does this go? How does this work here? How do you perform this here on stage? What are people reacting? So yeah, from hearing what you just did, if I'm doing that, I'm just gonna probably have some just like, you know, like I said, maybe no lights, then you standing there, light come on, and you say that, then the music drop, place to go crazy.
I will do that. Thank you for the jewelry, legend.
No
And
problem.
Wordsworth not bad for his second language, huh?
Nah, that's what the connections was crazy, very crazy.
And you did what we always talked about. You brought in the Spanish, like which tied shit together, you know, and you were obviously talking about like rhymecology stuff that's been happening here. So, you know, crowd pleaser, crowd pleaser. Beautiful, beautiful as usual. Um, thank you, Battle Lou, my guy. All right,
Thank you,
so
Jeff.
let's see. We had Sarah, we had this. Um, So we got my college buddy who is not an MC, but loves words. He uses them. Actually, tell us your I am statement, my guy.
Yeah, I'm John Grobens. I'm a writer and play-by-play broadcaster with a passionate and poetic style. I create intelligent and compelling content for any sport or journalistic platform.
Dope.
Did you write? Do you have a piece you want to
Yep.
share?
Yeah, I'm ready. Ask me about my native land. My response is that I'm Latvian. Where is that? On the map again? It's the country where the Grobens family path begins. I believe I will never achieve the standard that my heroic dad and grandma lived. They gave up everything, and it took everything they had to give to make a new life, free from all the war, struggle, strife, and trouble that was happening. All they brought was the family cloth and a hope to reestablish in the USA for the rest of their days, far, far, far away from home, away from every friend they ever had and every one they'd ever known. The story they tell is not one to embellish, at times afraid, but they never behaved helpless. Prayers were divine, surviving on nickels and dimes, still forever brave and selfless. I can't help it. That's my answer. I feel guilty not living up to that standard, when their plan all along was to make my life easier, freer, and grander. I'm proud of my family, my name, and the manner that these roots were planted. I'm truly living proof that their greatest wish was eventually granted.
Dope, man. Yeah, I like it. I would definitely say when you're like, because I heard you like say like how everything passed down to you and you're able to reap those fruits and things and like that. I would definitely say when writing like that, sometimes throw in some comparatives.
Okay.
If you throw out some stuff they went through and compare it to like how what you had to deal with, they had to deal with this and get real specific. So specificity will help a lot in that. And so that's kind of like, a lot of that I have to do in revising. So I'm very big on revising. So um, that's what gets, I think the best of everything that people hear is never like a one written thing with me. There's no verse that's just written straight through. I can't do it. It just I might write some lines here and there, but I sit for hours. So I think when you're starting to talk about like what people have gone through, I think people really want to hear the details of what they've gone through. And so this is what I teach in class is basically everything you've written, what's the visual for it when you point to that line? So when the lyrics on the board with my students, I point to the line and I say, tell me what's the visual next to that? Because how can we go outside and do the video for this? So that helps them think a little bit further with that line, no matter what it is. So I would just say from hearing it and being such a touching thing with family and stuff, and then also being appreciative, I think we want to know what was the journey they had, because it'll bring people in more. So just try to get some comparatives. That's all.
Yeah. I actually thought about after this class has, been going on, how could I write it through my grandma's eyes? Which would be incredibly tougher probably to do, but it would be
You're talking
it would have
Wordsworth
the, it would have those details and that essence.
Yeah, those details, because those details are what's gonna, bring me in, right? And then it brings everybody else in. Um, so I'm very big on like even going through the verse that you've written and look for where the adjectives need to be at. I'm very big on that. That helps a lot too with the writing. That's very, very important. But I think that's kind of how you got to look at it. If you're gonna bring anything up about family, um, I would say some of the best lines or something. Let's say if I say my Uncle Joe, once I say Uncle Joe, I'm gonna say Uncle Joe with the brown Tims that used to be slim. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm bringing you in. Like Uncle Joe used to be cranky with the wrinkled forehead, and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm going into that measure because I want it to be that somebody that I don't know can pick it up and make art from it. That's how I think that's important, that it has to be whatever you're writing, you want it to be found by strangers that can actually relate. So every verse you're writing, everything you're writing is actually a baton. So I would put a lot more comparatives in there to show the struggle and the journey and the connection and stuff. So that's all my suggestion would be. That's it.
Yeah,
Just look at the comparatives.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
It's
That's a dope. Yeah, that's a great idea. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait.
it's a lot of harsh adjectives that I'd be
Yeah,
using for that story.
yeah.
That's
But
what.
you got, I mean, just it's what it is though. Like whatever it is, it's like I mean, as far as it's like, I would just say like if it had to deal with like uh let's say climbing mountains, rough mountains, rough brown hills, like those adjectives make it that. So just trying to find those places of how you can make it more descriptive uh to bring people in. That's all I would say. That's all I would say. Other than that, it's dope. But that's all I would say. It's just I because when I'm listening to you say it, I want to be more nosy. That's what writing is about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, how nosy we're nosy. So when you're saying everything you're saying, and you're reading it to me, I'm like, yo, what did they go through? What happened?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
what? So that's basically how we have to write. Is just being, if you're somebody's nosy, we're all nosy people. When you know what I'm saying? I tell this a lot of stuff, like I said, I teach my students, if my hand goes in my pocket, the next thing you're curious to know what I'm gonna take out. So it's the same thing with writing.
Thank you.
That's just a great. That's just such a great idea. Yeah, few yeah, like I could see it. Yeah, I could just see it. I'm sitting here comparing and complaining about rap. My grandparents came across the waters with a ripped bag on their back. Or
All of that.
something
Yeah.
like 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 how blessed you are, and like they were climbing over hills with mountains and rocks, and you know. I'm just complaining because the fountain won't stop, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's when you start doing that, that's like when you start going, I think that's the elevation of writing. You know what I'm saying? I've said this numerous times. When I was in college, man, college, you get books, and I'm up here like, I ain't reading these books, whatever the case. One book I made sure I read, I was in creative writing. I can't remember, but it was something Wallace by some a writer, something Wallace. But the one thing they said is like, you got to learn to duplicate every style and makes you the better writer. The best writers can copy every style. So it's just trying to figure out like the elevation of writing is, some of the greatest writers we like and we love. A lot of them are very descriptive. That's why we like that song or writers. So it's just really just trying to be as descriptive as possible, and that's the key to it. That's the key to it. Because I really say it's the key to it, not from a music standpoint, but just a literary standpoint on stage, a cappella. Does it hit and compel? I don't, beats are dope, but at the end of the day, when there's no beat, does this work and compel? So I can hear that same thing you said. And if you add in that stuff there, you're gonna have some tears in the crowd. You're gonna have some people like really feeling it. So
and that
Thank
now
you.
David Foster Wallace, maybe. Let me see. I gotta look it up. I'll look it up if it's David Foster Wallace.
Oh yeah, Katie.
Was it Infinite Jest?
No, I actually had found the book too at one point, and I wonder. No, I don't think it's in. But I gotta find this book again. This is a long time ago, but I got it when I was in creative writing class, and it was the only book. I don't know. It was the only book I sat in the lot in my dorm area and just sat there and I started reading it, and it was like duplicated style. Basically, the what I mean by that whole duplicated style thing, if to say anything, even the styles we don't like in music and anything we don't like, you should learn that style. The reason why is because as a writer, if you're going to be a writer, I get hired to write. I'm not so music that I've had on like NCIS and Power and Bel Air and all that. So it's gonna go a little bit off for a second, but um there's I have like a publisher and administrator, so I do sync licensing. And she has like maybe 30 or 40 records of me that nobody will ever hear on my albums. And it's me rapping every style. I can do everything. I can do drill, trap, everything. I do it all. And people at home are watching TV and it's playing, and you don't know it's me. But that's the writing aspect of why you need to learn how to write every style, because basically we all are walking tool sheds. So can you go in there and grab the screwdriver when you need it? Can you go in there and grab the hammer? So we got to stop locking up the tool shed and then open it up and be like, I gotta go Home Depot. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I try to think of writing. Just trying to think of it like that. So just gotta be detailed, and then you'll know when enough is enough, because will that verse that you wrote, if you heard it from somebody else, would it make you say that's fire? Point blank. If a stranger said your verse, would you think it's fire? That's what you gotta ask yourself. And if somebody that said it, that's a stranger, said it and it didn't make you go, that's crazy, then it's probably not as fire as you thought. But if it's something that when you write it and you heard somebody else say it will make you go, that's crazy, then it's gonna be probably just as fire. Because of the competitive edge as a writer and as people, we all know a certain quality standard that makes us go, that's crazy. That's with anything. It could be food, clothing, and all that. So you just gotta hold yourself to that standard of, if I transfer what I wrote and let somebody else say it, what I say is fire. If it doesn't make me say that, then I gotta search within myself, where do I meet that? How do I meet that level of, it's like for producer, there's people that make beats, and if they listen to Primo, they're gonna be like, nah, this ain't messing prepared. They're gonna get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta just kind of have that self-awareness, and it's something to work on, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to do it too. I had to transition from being punchline rapper and then had to figure out storytelling lane. And then I moved into that, and then that's what I became. But the recognition of it really has to be able to be self-reflective and say, yo, this ain't it. And then say, now that's it, because I can hear that being said by that. So it's a lot of deep stuff, y'all. I could talk all about it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I want to hear who's next. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I
Thank
could be
you.
I could be on here. I goes in with this stuff, but yes.
Good. Katie, you want to do something or no? No. Okay. Uh,
I just don't have anything. Because
you got something in the notebook from some time. It doesn't need to be from Rhymecologist breaking through with bars. It can be from anything you want. Think about it. My guy Patches. Let me pull up my guy Patches next. Tell him who you are, bro.
All right, man. I just came up with the I am statement. I've been working on it, but I just think I kind of got it just now. So I am Patches, the MC, singer, and beat maker who highlights the good in hip hop by producing musical benefit projects that give back to various nonprofit, inner city, and hip hop based organizations.
So
All right, so check me out. This was the heartfelt one. Kind of deals with family violence and abuse and childhood struggles and shit like that. But here we go. I used the nightmares to put me to sleep. It was a time where I swear monsters put me at peace. And what I find when I'm looking too deep is just a big waste of time they always push me to be. I was defined by just what you could see. And now the inside of my mind still fucking with me. It was strife substituted for needs. I learned to write and recite to overcome the disease. I had to free my mind with frightening faces. The trees I climbed became hiding places. There were spaces I find I could sneak into safe. There's a demon in my life I still need to escape. So if somehow you could climb, I suggest you do that. Please don't ever stop and look behind. Don't ever move back. I spent a lifetime of running down dreams only to prove that there's a couple of nightmares left I could never move past.
Man, that's deep. I like that. I like the nightmares put me to sleep and everything about it. I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot. I would love to see what the second verse would be like. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
working on that. Yeah.
Because the first one was kind of like metaphors and stuff in there and like delving deep into that. So I like that when songs and when writing, because with that you hit that particular maybe like audience that like that people that like to delve deep like that. And then now you get the grab. So basically you'll have this half of the audience here, and you're able to merge the world, and then you got the whole thing. So that's why I want to hear if the second verse could be more like direct. So that verse is more kind of like metaphoric deep. And then I would love to hear the second verse and see how you bring both worlds together. Because that's a skill in itself too, to not be able to stay so deep and being able to kind of go in both worlds. So I often would tell somebody like that. That's what I would sit there. I'd be like, yo, that first verse is that, second verse do this. So I say this all the time, like with rhyming, right? When I play my wife my songs, there's certain songs I play her because I know she's kind of like the average listener. But then there's certain songs me and you might be rocking. You're like, oh yeah, that's crazy because of the certain things. So I think when you're doing writing songs, it's okay to write a verse for this audience here, and then say this next half, I'm gonna write this for the direct people here. And now you got both audiences there together. So I would just say I'm interested in hearing, can you stay with that craft and deepness in the second verse? So like the nightmares, sleeping the nightmares and sleeping with the nightmares put you to sleep by what are those nightmares?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
now tell me the nightmares when I was in the light years and trying to fight fairs, and we used to be going and right. Like now start getting into the storytelling of what these are.
Okay.
You set me up with that. And that I think is what will help bring all the worlds together.
Oh,
And,
thank you, man.
and if you even reversed it and you did the first verse where it's just like direct, and then you did the second verse deep, it just brings both worlds. So I think it's important to just kind of identify with um, switching lanes when writing a song. I think it's important to think about that.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
And
Man.
Patches, so
Yeah,
what we talked about in the last session, the breaking through with bars, with the treadmill and that situation, that could be like, because words are saying it was ethereal, it was more like general,
metaphorical
nightmares. I can't sleep, I'm trying to push past them. But what is bringing those nightmares on? Who did this to you, or what was done to you? And so that would be a great twist in the second verse. And who knows, maybe the third verse is, I went to, this therapeutic, therapy. I talked it out, figured out that it was a generational cycle, that he was that, you know what I mean? Like there could be something crazy there as well. So, when we get together in our one-on-one stuff, we can talk about, that as well, because I think it's too powerful to leave it general, right? Like Words wants to, like Words said to Jay Trey, like, it is dope and it's powerful, but I want to see the movie too, right? And so you might have a real opportunity. Like we felt bad, like we felt kind of bad, but we were kind of feeling like we were loving your cadence, we were loving your rhymes and shadow boxes, and you delivered it perfect. But I think what he's saying is the next thing is I want to see the movie. That'll make us feel more, right?
Here's another thing I would say. This is a way to think about it, right? This is just think about this. When all of us are driving or wherever way you listen to music, you get into work or whatever the case, right? Um, or you're in a place where people listen to music. You have to think about sometimes how many people are in the car with you. Right? So when that song comes on, that first verse is going to speak to probably two people in the car, maybe one person in the car. Do you have a verse that kind of would relate to maybe one person in the car, and then the other second verse relates to everybody in the car? So like, and then that way you're grabbing everybody kind of from different angles. But either way, you're gonna get everybody because first verse, they get either maybe everybody likes the first verse and then the second verse, no. But in some regards, you're covered. You're kind of covered. Because first verse, two people might like that, and then they might be like, I don't really know, I don't understand what's happening. Second verse, they be like, ooh, I really get with that. And it can happen if you switch verses. So I think that's kind of how I try to think like two people in a car. Am I able to get both of them to like it, even if it's two different verses? One of them gonna like one of those verses.
Yeah.
One of them gonna like one of those verses.
Yeah.
So that's how I try to think about it. Like, I want to write this verse for that person that's like that like may like that. And if they don't like that, this verse got them. So they're gonna like something. So kind of like writing in that regards, like, you know,
Appreciate
so
you.
that's kind of how I think about it.
I'm gonna attack that second verse with that energy, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and let me know. I'd like to hear it.
Respect.
Same thing. You got
Respect.
as you touch up uh, uh, on the ideas, Wordsworth's ideas. Be in touch with me when you get something kind of pretty finished. You know, we'll pass it along. Okay, so something exciting to look forward to. All right, so we had patches. Katie's still passing. Come on,
I
share.
mean, I don't have anything that's like heartfelt or worth critiquing or anything. Like I could try to do my final, but like I
Do it,
just
do it.
don't
That's
want
it.
to
That's
waste
it. Do
time.
the fun. There we go.
Let's hear it.
All right, my I am statement. I never got past. I'm Katie. I'm an overgrown adolescent trying to find a place to belong. I help others to feel better about themselves by providing a substandard example for comparison. Okay. So as long as I can remember it. We're one semester down and haven't seen much improvement, but exposed to dope sounds and key concepts illumined. My regression confounds. I ain't even been truant, but ineptitude abounds. At best, I'm a grim student. Lately leaving lectures like long live lyricism, empty of expression when eyed with empiricism. Can't conceive consideration causing a career decision. Surely I should simply stop, just submit to sheer derision. My presence in class is inconsequential. Within my thin skin, I've been non-essential. Don't belong in this strong throng with sing-song credentials, but when I'll surrender my pen, well, it's confidential. Yet I persevere apace upon this path of pain pursuant. May not make much sense. I must be moved by masochistic music. Clear my criticism craving could create confusion, but I'm enjoying every inch, indulging in my ink illusions.
That's phenomenal right there too. That's dope. Super dope. Super dope. You sitting here like playing possum, like I don't got no bars.
That's her brand. Just, but that's all right.
Ah, that's dope. So what? Music or what? What's your realm?
I just joined so that I could because I slept on hip hop my whole life, and so I just signed up to get when I realized how amazing the poetry and the wordplay and everything was, like it suddenly hit me. I wanted to learn how to understand better. And so just in enrolling in the school, and I really wanted to do rhymecology. And so just enrolling in the school, we have homework assignments, so we have to write and everything. So
Right.
I'm just like I don't have an end goal or anything, but yeah, I was into music when I was little. I mean, but I think I like kind of shut off the creative part of me at some point. So it's really fun to get back into it.
Yeah, I think from hearing your delivery and everything, I definitely think is very effective. I think you just gotta figure out the avenue of who you want to affect with it. And if you figure out if it's helping people, I think you can use it from that avenue of writing it, maybe writing other people's thoughts. And I think, you know, that poetry lane is very serious. Like it's very dope to do. The one thing too today where you're just able to upload stuff. You just need light little beats. You don't need nothing crazy like that. Going open mics and using poetry and lyrics and whatever you're writing as another way to present something for people. So I think if you just find, I don't know what you, I know like helping people. I heard something like helping people. If you're here to help people, I think you could kind of put it together with how you write and how you present. I think helps a lot. So I think from hearing what you said and how you say it, I think that might be a stronger weapon than just talking. So you might have to consider how you set up the way you want to talk to help people. Whatever they're going through, I think maybe you might have to write and give them a reflection of it from a verbal standpoint, and then and present it. And that might be your help. So you might have your medicine in your music and in your lyrics. So sometimes that's the way to look at it. Trying to
Yeah,
do, you know.
that's great. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Medicine in the music, Kate.
I think you should consider like if you're talking to people and helping them and stuff like that, that there's some segment and every time you talk to somebody, there's something written that you have to say like that. And I think that would help people a lot. So I'm going by everybody's projection and what they're saying, and like I see everybody's thing. To me, I see like everybody's vibe and bag. I'm like, oh yeah, he did this and that. You know what I'm saying? And and I love it. So that's why I'm listening and I'm like, wow, that would be impactful here in this arena here, and this and that. So I'm like, wow, I love it. You know, because we've all been there. I've been in that position and I'm in that position at times still. You're always going to be in that position of somebody you're trying to prove yourself to, or here, check this out. How do you like this? And yo, does this sound fire? And this and that. And then you know, experiences help you be able to help other people and kind of direct them and stuff like that. But nobody's ever too big for direction, you know what I'm saying? Even to today, you got the best artists that'll listen to the ill producer, like singing like this. You could be anybody, and you go in that studio, and that producer be like, nah, that don't sound. Dr. Dre be like, do that 300 times over. You're gonna do it over. So we're all here still learning. I'm learning, but I think from hearing you guys do your IMs and stuff, and then hearing what you're saying, that helps me kind of like figure out, okay, I can see the arenas everybody kind of is in. Yeah, that's kind of what I've seen from hearing everybody.
Yeah, how we're tying in this I am with our piece. Um, yeah, thank you, Katie. And you know, I could see that even that particular piece, like maybe being like slowed down a little bit, because there was like a lot of techniques in there. Like, don't get it twisted. There was a lot of techniques in there that you used, um, that even slowed down just a smidge would probably like um, hit like ring harder even. You know what I'm saying? Um, and did you that was memorized? You kicked that memorized? Yeah. Thank you for doing that. Only person who's done that. Yeah, that's a good, yeah. So what words were said, and I would love to hear that again. Like, yeah, just like a beat slower, so those techniques can sink in. Thank you, Katie. All right, we got two more. Two more. We've got Big Mike, and then we've got myself. We're gonna do that, and we're doing great on time. We'll be right on time. I'm gonna pull over my guy, Big Mike, the hip hop therapist.
Oh.
And do your thing, my guy.
I am Mike, Big Mike, a Cape Verdean MC and hip hop therapist, multimedia teaching artist out of Boston. Here to make marks through art and using hip hop as a fuel for change and development. You heard? And this has been crazy. This class has been phenomenal. I said, I am Big Mike. I gotta be the greatest, or else why was I created? They call everything I do a masterpiece, and that's because I made it. I'm the game genie in life, help them smash through all the stages. Every space I make the safest. I'm from the city of the bravest. Parents come from islands that was a middle point for slave ships. So for them, everything I'm blazing till they playing this on every playlist. While I'm taking trips, it's crazy the way they make shifts, help them get their bars up. So I embrace it like they braces. They kids put him on mask so they didn't have to face it. I ain't a killer, but I ain't a killer, but I'm adjacent. No waiting for permission. I speak it into existence because the universe can't tell the difference. And if the vibe right, that's how we get them all to listen. Things gotta be all aligned like it's been made with precision. Think a blade with incisions. Always on the move, never a slave to decisions. Staying away from the prisons. That's the way I've been living. So I'm taking all the money I earned, man, for creating this vision.
Dope, dope, man. I like that joint too. Real dope, man. So I like how it's like a good mixture. It's a good mixture of like starting off like being the greatest created and stuff like that, and then having some socials in there, some social issues and stuff like that. Um, I think that's kind of that's the way that I think a lot of rapping should be. I think you gotta have that because it really stemmed from the braggadocio stuff. But like after some point, the social stuff is really what people really care about. How dope you are and all that is cool, but like, when you start talking about some social stuff and making decisions and with the precision of decisions and stuff like that, I like all that in there too as well. I think what I would if I had to say anything, I would say I like how you start delving into like the social issue stuff and describing it. I would like to hear more of those descriptions. You know what I'm saying? Like, because then when you get into the part when you said like the listen and the precision and the incision, I like all that, and I like all that precision, incision, decisions. But then I still, and you said with the prisons and all that. But I like when you was describing. There's a line in there when you like describing like outside. What's is something you saying there
Uh,
after the greatest parts?
After the greatest, playing on every playlist, crazy how they make shift, get them bars up. I embrace it like they braces. The kids putting masks on so they didn't have to
Here we
face it.
go. So here we go. Like when you start going into that bag, when you start going into that bag. So when you start going in that bag with the kids putting the mask on, and I'm adjacent to the all of that, I like a lot of that. Because once you said the kids putting mask on, it's that visuals. So I'm into the
Mm.
vision. I'm into that visual stuff because I think that's. I just try to always think whatever's written visual is easier to kind of turn into the screen kind of, but also I'm almost like when I'm listening to somebody when they bring it up and then they don't stick to that, and I'm like, oh, the kids with the mask on, Jason, and then add Jason, I'm at and this and that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you delve and you start off with you, but after I hear like the first part of you, you start talking about that, and then the decisions and precision are decisions and the prisons. I'm that's the stuff that I want to like more of, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a delicate balance depending on what you're writing for. That's what I would say with that. Um, if you're doing like a feature, that verse works for a feature. But if we're doing like maybe a social topic, you would have probably kept all the greatest off and went straight from the kids wearing masks, right? You feel me, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think you understand what is going on in the universe and what is in. I'm a hip hop therapist by day. So by day, I'm teaching kids how to write, record, perform, be on stage, express themselves through this thing called hip hop. With curriculums that we have set up or whatever. But by night, I'm rapping for rappers. Like I'm
Right.
grew up in the streets of Boston around gangsters battling with people who was shot, and it's like that was rapping through that. And then I'm only a hip hop therapist because that I survived that. And I was like, yo, if I had somebody like me that could come say, yo, rap like this and do this and try this and rap from this perspective and do so the fact that this is all happening now in culmination, like looking at Professor Jeff being in this class and then you being who you are with the Lyricist Lounge and just who you are as an MC and then as like an educator. Like all of this has been, I just take it in, like my notes are crazy just because I really take all of this like to heart for real. Because that's what I'm trying to figure out now. It's like the music I make ain't really in alignment with my hip hop therapy stuff. But I want to stop. Like I'm in my hip hop, dog, I got a whole bunch of verses that got no cursing. It's that vibe because that's what we doing. So if they need a verse, and we talking about our family, I got my family verse and it sound crazy and blah blah blah. But when I'm in my rap, I because like you said, you got to be able to do. I'm only in pendulum because I'm learning how to do everything. Because if I'm teaching you how to rap, we got to teach you everything. It started 1973 in a certain way when people was rapping about certain things. If I'm teaching you rap and I'm not telling you that, I'm failing. I'm already failing at what I'm doing to me. And then it's also if I'm not nice, you're not gonna listen to what I'm saying. So if we not nice, if I can't show you how to be nice and get the message out, then what we doing? Because this
That's
is
the
what
main thing. And that's the main thing. Like, cause me and you do the same thing. I do music production. You do music production with the kids and people in general. And the main thing is actually trying to show them a message with it. You know what I'm saying? Like a message with it. But also because some of them are so young, we have to do the braggadocio aspect of it too. But some of them ain't been through all of that yet. So you know what I'm saying? So it's a good balance. But that's what I was hearing in there. I'm like, yeah, he got this part in there, but I know this part right here from the kids with that's the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Going into that with the incision of the precision of incisions and all that, making decisions with the prisons. I was like, all right, so that's the bag. That's the real, you know what I'm saying? That's the real bag. The other part in the beginning, I was kind of like, all right, let's see where we go. So that's all I would have said. I would have been like, yeah, the first half is kind of you just kind of saying some stuff. This the meat and potatoes is here. But
right.
I think you probably already know that dealing with having to teach that you gotta divide what's here for that and this is here, depending on the age. Depending on the age, who it is. So yeah. But that's what all I would have said. And it's a delicate balance, man. Depending on what you rapping about, who you rapping with and all that. So yeah, dope, man.
Ooh, fire. This class is, ooh, you have no idea.
I mean, it goes so deep, the conversations with writing and all that, and then presenting it in songs and all that. So, but yeah, it was dope, man. Like I said, I already know like the part out that once you said the kid's mask on and it's adjacent and all that stuff, I already know. So
I'm not a killer, but I'm adjacent. And
good.
like the mask is a double because we had to wear masks to school. Don't get me started. And then we had to but then also Jason wears the mask. So at Jason, like you had a double on top of a double, that's just crazy.
Also, these kids is killing with shiesties on. So
By the way, I will say one other thing. When you the last thing, and then we'll jump. I'll finish this up here. But when you said when you started describing, I grew up in Boston. When people were getting shot and on the rhymes, like over like there was something that you like you painted a picture for us, and all my antennas went up. I'm like, ooh, I need to see that as a movie, right? Like words keep saying, like we need to see the visual of that. And so I think there could be some great detail described in what you went through, why you became a hip hop therapist. Literally, the track is right there for you. Why I became a hip hop therapist. That's the title of the poem. Go. All right, love you, bro. All right.
yeah, you already.
All right. So I asked them to write a little bit about themselves. So I have a little piece here that I want to share that'll do what it'll do. All right. So let me Get this. Yo, if this is my last song, I'd say I have no regrets, but that's a lie. I passed every writing test with no stress. I'd fly. But if this is the end, I must confess, I'd cry because I wanted to be the best. So why didn't I give every ounce of effort? The MC slash family man living off a Kester, but no guns or roses because the jester gets laughs whenever he poses, and the deep thinkers can't seem to keep up with the Joneses. Chill. They only think on the surface, always on the brink of a burden, cause they forgot what it's like not to have heat in the furnace. I speak with a turban cause I wrap my head around topics they cut deeper than surgeons, reeking the bourbon, and now I write in the light cause they won't let us see through the curtains. So listen to me, the only reason we bought their version of history is they keep deleting our version. I feast with the words and concepts, sitting in the suburbs while flirting with projects. But this bitch of an agent told me sit and be patient cause there's a glitch in the matrix. Man, it's hard to be lifting these pages cause my life winds are heavy and I'm light in defeats, dreaming of a white beach with sunlight on my feet where they don't shoot things. Had hoop dreams, I was light on my feet, but they said white man can't jump, but I can dunk, so I guess they lied to my feet. And the image the mirror presented to me, did I want to be a black star? Most definitely. Until I realized my reflection was eternal. Then inevitably, hip hop turned to healing. Around the time when athletes got burned for kneeling, I stopped capping and started rapping words with feelings. So now that I think about it, if this is the last thing that I write, I don't have a fucking regret in this life.
Hey, yo. Hard.
Man, yo.
Hey, Clutch.
I'll end it. Hey, you want me to end it? I think somebody said for me to end it. All right, check this out.
Hold on. I give me a little feedback before Wordsworth goes.
You want feedback?
Come on, I need. You're gonna kick something?
Yeah, I'll kick something.
Words, you're gonna kick. All right, but I want to hear a little feedback on that piece before we go to legend.
Okay, let's do it.
Anybody can.
Delivery like Amazon Prime, and you pay the extra to get it. I think that's the best part about hearing acapellas too, is that you see the power over, like Professor Wordsworth was saying, over beats is cool, but if you could still get that same emotion without the beat and still get the cadence and the bop that you would have regardless, then, and that's why you the professor you heard.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I thought it was dope too. I think it hit a lot of the stuff we brought up tonight, as far as like lines being visual. That's I think that would be the main thing of tonight's theme. How graphic can you make what you write? And I think that will help a lot just in general, and take everybody's writing to another level. It's just everything you write, just think about how think of making it, what's the brand name of it, what's the color of it, all of that. I think it just takes us to a whole nother level of writing. So for me, hearing that, I'm just listening for each line, and like, you know, you talk about the mirror and stuff like that and everything like that, and then the sunlight on your feet and stuff like that. I'm listening for those type of lines. You know what's so wild? Let me say the wildest thing, because we all sit by ourselves. So let me tell you what I thought to myself when I'm writing. When I'm by myself, this is what I think. I'm writing something, I go, it gotta be something iller than this here, because there's billions of people on earth that would think different. So when I sit there with that line, I really have to kind of almost say, would the billionth person thought of this line? Like, what's the line? What's the millions of lines I'm not thinking of? And I'm trying. I stretch my brain like that. What's the millionth line that I'm not thinking of? Because remember, we're all unique. So the way you think and the way you flow, whatever you say, nobody in the world can do it. Nobody can do what y'all do. Nobody's gonna sound like you, all of that. So sitting there, when I come up with lines, and I'm coming up with so many different lines, even if I came up with 4 different alternatives, there's actually hundreds of thousands of alternatives. Now the question is, how long are you gonna sit there till you get the alternative? That is what I think about all the time. How long am I going to sit here till I find the alternative that I know exists? And it's grueling because time, can you sit there, or you got to change where you're at? Maybe, so sometimes I'll sit there for a while. You know what I do? I'll think of the illest line, just saying, let me go walk to the refrigerator for a second and get something, get a drink. And then I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And then I'm running back in here. So I just think you got to be thinking like there's 30, 40, maybe 20, 30,000 of these other alternate endings of this line. Push yourself to trying to think of what line would it be that makes me go, wow, because that is factual. If you give me a rhyme right now, we pass the paper from us starting right now, and we pass it to everybody in the world, we're going to come up with millions of other rhyme schemes. So can you push yourself with the patience to think of the rhyme scheme? And that is the question. Can you sit there and think of it?
Yeah, that's a great point. And like in this piece, I'm not just gonna say light on my feet and lied to my feet. I had to say sunlight on my feet and I'm light in defeats. Like I had to I was like, I'm not just gonna settle. Like I'm gonna turn that glitch into more, and then put shoot things, and hoop dreams is a double. Obviously, shoot dream, it's a double, and like that's also a shadow box and internal run. So it was like, yeah, I'm not settling on this one. Words
Man,
is words
that's
is
the thing, man. Settling is very real, man. Cause time, you got time and you got, life. But I think that's the thing, like, cause it's out there, y'all. It's out there. The rhyme to make you go, whoa, is there. It's there. If you don't think of it, like I said, you can start a paper right now, hand it and keep handing it across the world. You're gonna get millions and millions of different lines. And we all can think of the rhyme, but sometimes it takes longer than others. So are you gonna put in the time to think of the line that rhyme and it combines to sound fine that comes out your mind? That's all.
ours. K12, you had your hand up.
Yeah, man. Hey, that was crazy. I think my favorite part was the golden era references, and from movies to, what I'm saying, music. Like you said, I'm a black star, most definitely. Like what you did with your hands too, you performed it. So it was like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? To me, that was crazy because I was not expecting you to say that, and then you said it, and I caught the reference ASAP, and it was, hey, that was crazy.
I especially love there's like
It was,
another
but I didn't say.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
like
No, go ahead.
best alliance in hip hop. Well, like you just
Oh.
it's like psychology and bars.
Yeah.
Now who's the best alliance in hip hop?
Wow, great ear. But K12, I didn't say I am or was a black star. I said, did I want to be a black star? Most definitely. Until I realized my reflection was eternal, which is the Talib album. So it's a tie-in there. So, but yeah. So yeah, that was yep. Thank you. That was fun to read. Finally got to get that one off. Thank you very much, my people. And we're coming to our end, but I don't think that we're going to get here with the words taking us a little something. If
Yeah, I
he's all
like.
right with that.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I'll kick this one. It's called Convicted. This one I like to do a lot because of um how it is. So it's called Convicted. 9 months in the cell, mom in labor. Should have came out premature for good behavior. Why come out when dudes like me fill in the morgue? Might hang myself in my cell with my umbilical cord. A bastard, the doctor says that I look like my mama's man. See the resemblance? My mug shot is a sonogram. Uterus walls. I started as a speck small. My dad denied me, didn't accept me like collect calls. Weight she gained, sudden labor pains, and she slept more. Mom craving pickles had me kicking in the mess hall. Came out headstrong, cried when I hit earth. Born naked since birth, like I was strip search. Family came to visit, talking through the glass. From the baby shower, got my commissary and some cash. So thank God I wasn't born addicted. I was born convicted because of my pigment.
That's crazy.
So it's just the metaphor of how being inside the cell is both the same way for being black. You inside you locked up and outside you locked up even when you're born. So just showing how the parallels are actually there. So that's on a song called Convicted. And on that song, actually, it's a 3-story song. It's about uh, the birth of me. The second verse is done by Pearl Gates when the guy's like teenager, and then I believe Ace does the last verse when he's an adult. So that's kind of how it is. But yeah, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite verses I've ever written, just based off of the content.
And it was it never disappointed because we caught the concept probably by the second line, and then you never strayed from it. You know, every single thing from the glass to the hanging to the cord to I mean every single line was just like the parallel was there perfectly.
Yeah.
Very satisfying. Go ahead, Big Mike.
Baby shower was crazy, but my question is, are you gonna create the rhyme that takes time to come out your mind, sublime and be fine?
Man, I write pretty much I write pretty often, but like I record on the weekends. I try to do like family time all week and then I write. But yeah, man. I got a couple projects already done just sitting there that'll come out soon with PA Dre. I got some with Stu Bangers up top. I got some whole project with Stu Bangers sitting there. So
Right.
you dig that, your area up there. And but my main focus, to be honest with y'all, is really like music is like third for me now. So first really is like education and hip hop, combining the stuff that I'm learning, like teaching now. Second for me would be the books. So now writing like the books and transitioning there. And then the music is there as well. But mainly just trying to just identify where I'm at in life and where I'm going. I want to make sure I have the books and things. So when y'all see me, it's more so not necessarily performing a show, but maybe presenting and then also doing the show. So in actually, I don't know if anybody lives in Texas, next month, um, me, Jay Rawls, John Robinson, and Professor James Mao will be at South by Southwest Edutainment Week. So we're actually going to be presenting there. So I've been doing that. We've presented at Harvard and things like that. So I'll be at South by Southwest presenting on some education vibe, also talking about hip hop. So just understanding, trying to set the foundation for things like what we do, and just on a global and different scale because hip hop is still so young. So now we're the leaders that have to put these bricks there and these things now, right? Building this. So the music is there, but for the more so, it's more so when people come there, I'm understanding my audience and people that have grown with me are now in a different time and space that the literary work is a little more attainable. So like I have the books on Audible and stuff like that, a lot of stuff like that too. So like the kids book is on Audible and then my other book is actually on my Bandcamp. So that one I actually recorded it myself here and then I had a family member do the kids book. But like that's kind of what my mindset is, writing and trying to make sure that it's in these other facets that you can absorb it and obtain.
The audio version of the rhyme book, you did it all acapellas?
Yeah, I actually, man, Audible is something different. So I did it on Bandcamp because I actually did the book differently than what it would be. So I basically read the book, but I also do all the rhymes over and they're all acapellas. Yeah. So if you ever want to, I tell people like, yo, you actually get the acapellas of the album.
Yeah.
And what I did is actually fly in the hooks from the song acapella.
All right.
In the book. So it's different. So Yeah, it's different. I did it that way because Audible does not let you do shout outs at the end of the book.
Hmm.
And you can't even say nothing different than chapter one. So I did I actually had a freestyle at the end of mine. And they went loud. I
Oh,
that type of stuff. But the kids book is on Audible, so you can get that one there. And then maybe down the line I'll redo this one, but the next book I'll just probably put on there. But yeah, man.
fire, fire. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
So
Thank you.
what I'd like to do, Words, is uh text me all the links to everything you have, from
Yeah, I put up.
Bandcamp to books. I know you did it in the chat, but send
Yeah,
it to me because it's just easier for people to grab in a text. Send me everything you have because I know that they're gonna be copying books. They're gonna be going checking out records they haven't heard. So just send me everything from the albums to the whatever, any links you have. I will my mind will spray them like J. Rule, to these guys. And so that that'll be dope. So we have had a beautiful last class. To be honest, every class was great, and this was like I said, it was going to be kind of the celebration, and got complete gems. Every single word that came out of his mouth was it was a gem, like literally, like no one can teach like you words, like. And we've had every legendary guest possible, so you're really in a class of your own. And I
thank you.
appreciate you, man, and I appreciate our friendship, and I appreciate you following the rhymecology journey for the last few years, um, and all of that. So thank you to you, and thank you to everyone who was here. This was recorded, so who we can get it to the couple people who didn't make it. Um, but thank you for coming on this breaking through with bars journey with me. As you see, it's a little bit different than what we do at Pendulum. Um, and I will be following up with you guys because I'd like to figure out a way we can, continue this. Maybe it's once a month or something like that. We can, out something like figure it out. But we'll be hearing on that on that tip. So, with that being said, long live lyricism,
Yes, sir.
and much love to all you lyricists here. You guys are amazing, and thank you for being vulnerable, opening up, and kicking your amazing rhymes.
Yes, I really appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all, man. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, and if you hit me on there, you can hit me on the DM and stuff like that. And if you want to, I know you got the songs and stuff like that. If y'all want me to hear it through there and stuff, just remind me like, yo, we met, boom, boom, and I'll check it out. I'll listen to it. I'm interested in hearing what y'all got going on.
Okay, and
Thank
it's
y'all.
yeah, just search. Yeah, you'll just put in Wordsworth. It'll come up here. Wordsworth. It'll come up, and if you're not on Instagram, like one or two of you aren't, Wordsworth BKLOIN Brooklyn. Um, I can get that to him as well. So, all right, y'all. Long live lyricism, rhymecology. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Thank you, Words. Have a great night.
Y'all be safe.
Peace and blessings and lyricism and love and light and all those things.
Peace.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you too.
Fire, fire, fire.
Yep. Thank you all.
Appreciate your family. Thank you.